Hello friends, today we are going to talk about a vehicle that is rarely talked about, but what is a vehicle loved throughout Latin America? It is a vehicle that contributes to the economy of our countries, and it is a vehicle that all tourists also love. We are talking about the famous Torito Bajaj, also known above all by the foreigners who visit us with the name Tuk Tuk. Before moving on to see the conditions or qualities that this vehicle offers us, I am going to do a brief review. Where did this vehicle come from? This vehicle was born of ingenuity. It was born of necessity. As all the good things in life have arisen this vehicle. It was born from the need to replace those people who in Asia transported other people with more economic power. Well, from there it was born, and in the 1930s, more or less in Japan, they put that type of vehicle or that type of cart together with a motorcycle and turned it into what is today a motorcycle taxi or caponera as they want to call it in Costa Rica. The trademark, which has been claimed to have representation and which continues to have representation, is Bajaj. Remember that Bajaj is one of the companies or the main agencies or motorcycle builders or motorcycle manufacturers in the world, and this is one of their star vehicles. If you search the internet, you'll find TUC-Tuk races. Are you going to find rallies with tuk-tuks and really be amazed at the capabilities this vehicle has? We came to see what the interior of the tuk-tuk is like. Once here inside, I have really driven it, of course, but you will be surprised at the comfort that one has here. Here we'll find an address. Exactly, or very similar to that of a motorcycle. And I'm sure everyone is thinking it's very hard, right? It's actually very soft. It's very soft for the weight of the vehicle. I could imagine that it is very hard, it is very soft on the right side, the accelerator like a normal motorcycle on the left side, we have the couch or clutch, and we have the changes. First, second, third, and fourth. This vehicle also has a reverse, which makes it easier for us to start it anywhere. We also have a glove compartment. It doesn't look very safe, but I think it's enough to carry the documents, the vehicle documents, and carry one or another thing. There we have the indicators here. Fuel. And speaking of fuel, the Torito has a capacity of 8L, and its performance is incredible. Approximately 25 km per liter, that is, but of course that is because it has a 273 engine, which you should not be fooled by, because now we are going to talk about that. Here on the left we find the odometer, speedometer, tachometer, whatever you call it. In their countries, we have two plans to put different switches that you want, and we have the choke or shock for the observer. Even what they tell you in Colombia, when the vehicle is called to supply more fuel, we have more copes or more here. The compartments, here we have a secret compartment. We have, of course, a little light to see you better. We also have within the controls that we have here on the right, we have the horn. Of course, we have the windshield wiper, which I am not going to learn much about because we are going to grade it. And here we are going to find a charger or a port of more like 12 volts that would allow us to connect from a tire inflator to whatever they think of a cooler. If it is the case, if we come here to the left side of the driver, we are going to find it. Right directional, left directional, we find highlights and lowlights. We also find here now this detail that here you can see the changes or gears in which it goes. We also have, of course, some controls with two planned to put what you like, what you want. But we already have the stationary ones at the factory, or parking pluses, or witnesses, or ask for a road as they call it in Guatemala. Those will be reflected here. Then we have another button here, and this button is to activate one of the innovations that this vehicle brought in 2022, which was a USB charger that also works as a mesh key or as USB key or as a storage key, but also activates the radio. Here it is, as you can see. Here we have music, whatever you want, and you can also bring your storage key. We have the brake pedal here. An interesting fact is that this pedal operates about 3 H wheels, the rear wheels and the front wheel. So let's say the braking is totally distributed. Here we have a fire extinguisher holder. However, there are those who use it to carry water. We have the brake here, as I told you, and here is the pump. This is the pump, and here is the brake fluid compartment. Of course, we also have two very important things on this side. First, the hand and second brake, a very, very important stopcock, including a fuel reserve. That fuel reserve should allow us to get to a gas station. We have a stand here. What you see here is not a computer. This is a foot support to make braking more comfortable. It really is a very complete vehicle, and in case we ran out of battery, this thing we see here is no cane, nor is it an emergency umbrella. This is a manual start. Let's try it. Really is quite easy. This vehicle was cold, and as you can see, it turned on pretty easy. And what does it come with from the factory? Well, here under the seat we have what we need to figure it out ourselves. A spare tire. This spare tire can only be removed with the key, which gives extra security. A battery is not a motorcycle battery. A battery very similar to that of a car vehicle that also needs the key to be removed. And we have the cat here. The cat stops in case we have to change the tire. At the back, this vehicle has a compartment for passengers. In the case of Costa Rica, only 2 persons. In the case of some Latin American countries, 3. And in the case of India, 10. As you can see, it's amazing. It's the comfort that feels 1, 2, 3, and could carry another person here and here in the back. Plus we have extra space. This extra space, we can carry whatever you want. We have a friend who brings her dog here, her pet. Of course, this canvas it brings can be removed if that is the case. But in our tropical countries, is it really necessary? Here we are going to find the fuel cap. With the same key, we are going to go to the heart of this vehicle. We got it in the back. The engine is a 10.6 horsepower 17 engine. A front door that approximately, and this is the gate it brings, opens with the key of course, but it also brings these two pistils. And here we are going to find the heart of this machine. We find the starter. We have an oil-cooled engine over here. Here you can see the oil radiator, what they call the oil radiator. And we have a 196 engine. Cubic centimeters, practically 200 cc3, an engine that, due to the torque it handles perfectly, moves 370 kg at 60 km/h. In fact, I invite you to search YouTube for TUC Tube or Torito's competitions and you will find them. This Torito or this Tuk Tuk brings a unique technology that no other brings. And it's Bajaj's patented technology called DTS-DC. It is a technology that incorporates 2 or 3 candles or spark plugs or whatever they call it in their countries. And in the particular case of this vehicle, it has 2 candles, which makes it a vehicle. Well, of course, much safer, less likely to be stranded on the road, and of course more ease. At the time of starting to turn it on, the fuel will improve and be more efficient, but also, even in case of need, it could work even with a candle. We've got an air filter over here. Remember that, for example, in Costa Rica at least, it is used more on roads than where there is a lot of dust on the beach. So this addition is super important. Probably few are going to use it, but it is appreciated that Baja has incorporated a light here that would allow us at some point to check the heart of this machine. As you can see, access to the engine is super easy. We simply remove these 2 pins. We find the key. We finish securing here and we already have our engine playing guard. We have a bumper here, and here we have the exhaust with its respective catalyst. Well, the operation is very simple. We already have it on. We have the turn signals on. We make sure to remove the handbrake. We have the brakes on for whatever reason. For safety, we activate the coach and turn left. And there we feel that the engine is in first gear. We gently release the clutch and began to accelerate. And as you can see, it's super simple to drive. One of the questions that users ask me the most, or that they think is a problem, is that sometimes it seems like it seems like you don't get the changes, and this is simply because the engine engages. So for example, I was now bringing it in reverse then. If I want to pass the neutral and it doesn't happen to me, what I just have to do is like disengage it a little bit, and then the neutral just comes in, and of course I can change gears. Well, where's the reverse? Where's the pilot? Where's the reverse? We have the reverse here, simply having the vehicle in neutral and with the handbrake on, or with the pedal brake. We proceed to actuate this lever, we pull it backwards. She has like a trigger here to then remove it. Then we release or put the clutch, and we are going to put the vehicle in first. So what this device did, this lever what it did was reverse the first one. And if we're gonna go backwards, we just let go. We remove the clutch, sorry, the handbrake. We remove the pedal brake and we simply proceed to pull back. Now the consultation they have asked me is very common. What does it cost to put in the change? I'm gonna give the following example. Let's say I turned it off here, turned off the vehicle and probably didn't even put the handbrake on it. So the vehicle is actually supported on the engine, on the first, on the second. So if I try to turn it on here, it won't turn on me because it's not neutral. And if I try, put it on neutral, I won't be able to put it on neutral. Why won't I be able to put it in neutral? Just because it's in gear. So what I have to do is something as simple as that. I just get out of the vehicle, move it a little bit, and there it should, and there it should. Easily enter the first. As you can see, that is one of the most important things, and for the reasons why we are consulted the most, and it is as simple as doing this. Lighting. This vehicle has very good lighting. We have 3 positions. For example, we have position 1. That the dash turns on these side lights here, and that we also have them in the back, what we would call position lights if we want a front light to approach the road. Then we proceed with low lights and in the park. Left the manurio, we are going to find the high beam control. As you can see, it is a very good light, and that is because of the battery that the brake light brings. Let's show you the brake light, the rear brake light, when you apply the brake. When you apply the brake, as you can see, the brake lights are activated, which are very important, of course. And we must not fail to mention these mirrors that allow us complete rearward visibility. Excellent directional visibility. The directional ones, here we have the left, here we have the right. Of course, the back are also working right. Left, and we deactivate. And we also have the 4 stationary or park lights, which are these. There we have all the lights. Well, friends, this was a short tour. So for me, it is a forgotten but very important vehicle in the economy of Asia, LA, and Latin America. And a vehicle that is also very fashionable now, because there is nothing like putting a surfboard on it, having the pet in the back, and going to the beach with a vehicle like this. This vehicle is economical, it is easy to park anywhere, it is environmentally friendly because it has a small and low consumption engine. And besides, it is a vehicle that costs half of what the cheapest vehicle or car on the market costs. And how to buy a Tuk Tuk? Well, simply www.iwantmimoto.com, and here you will find the Tuk Tuk. You will find our links to WhatsApp, our central phone, and from comfort. From Nosara, Puerto Viejo, Dominical Tamarindo, you can simply make the payment and we will send it to your door. I don't want to say goodbye without mentioning to you to please subscribe, ring the bell, and support content like this.